it was a bit premature of them to let David Silva go, because they seem to be missing his creativity in that team.
You could say they're missing it, but surely that team has more than enough to replace him.
Hello and welcome back to the OTC Podcast with myself, Regan, Walsh, and my co-presenter, Brad Morris. How are you on this Thursday afternoon, Brad?
Cold, tired, but the football's here. Still. Constant.
Yep. Constant football. And, I mean, we recorded our last show on Sunday and we thought we had a lot to talk about then, but since then there has been an absolute fuck ton that has happened in the world of football. And it's literally been about 4 or 5 days. So we've had the Champions League and Europa League draws, which no surprising ties or ties were thrown up. I think the best tie in the Champions League is obviously Barcelona versus PSG. That's coming up. And then Europa League round of 32, I think maybe Man United, Real Sociedad. And Salzburg and Villarreal, probably the two big ties there.
One of the best performing teams this season.
And
so Manchester United.
So those ties will obviously take place in February, which we'll talk about more closer to the time. What else has happened? We've had Premier League games every day this week so far. Did we have some on Monday?
No, we didn't. We didn't. No.
No, Monday's the only day this week we haven't had games on. So Tuesday in the Premier League, there was a couple of games. Man City played West Bromwich Albion and drew 1-1. That game proved to be the last game for Slaven Bilic at West Bromwich Albion after the club decided to sack him. We'll get onto more of that in a bit. You got to say, standout performance of that game goes to Sam Johnston for the amount of saves he was pulling off to deny City scoring more than the one.
Right, that man since 2017.
When he spent a year on loan at the Villa.
It was a year, but wasn't it more? That's where he spent like half the season from January, I think. I can't remember.
Ooh, it might have been like a year and a half then.
He was more unreal in that second season. He was.
But yeah, a phenomenal performance from Johnston. More on that news that West Brom decided to sack Slaven Bilic after that game is, I think we've talked about it in the past of it being coming, but I think it is a surprise that it came after that game.
It's a surprise, but it's not without ownership. They get rid of managers for doing their job.
Yeah, it's that whole since they've changed ownership about 4 or 5 years ago from Jeremy Pease to I can't think of the fella's name now, the Chinese fella at the helm of West Brom.
I don't know his first name, but isn't it something like, I don't know his name, Lai or something?
Gubachon Lai. No. So they've gone through a good few managers since.
How ironic.
Yeah, I think maybe if they did it after the weekend's game, it wouldn't have been such a surprise. And there was stories that they had the decision had been made prior to the game on Tuesday evening, but for some reason they decided to do it after that game rather than say earlier on in the day or the day before. They would rather do it straight after the game.
Because they see what they got next.
Well, yes. All of Slaven Bilic's backroom team have gone with him. So Sam Allardyce, who's been appointed on an 18-month contract, will bring in his own. What do you make of that appointment of Sam Allardyce coming in?
It's so bittersweet because if they weren't playing us next, I'd be more sorry for them. But I've had the dreaded stat yesterday. Sam Allardyce has never lost his first game.
And all the clubs that he's taken over, I don't think he's ever been relegated either. In December.
If they don't get relegated, I would expect them to put up a fight in that relegation battle with him in charge.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. I know we've been saying it for a while now. I think Sheffield United are down. I think it's going to be too much of a tough ask for them, and then I think it could be.
Steady on, they got a point coming tonight.
And then it could be like a 3, maybe 4-way battle between West Brom, Burnley, Fulham, Brighton, and potentially Arsenal. Yes, I did just want to throw Arsenal in there for the fun of it.
Don't worry, I was thinking it.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Big Sam gets on at the Hawthorns. It's an 18-month contract, but I believe there's something in the contract says if they go down, then he will be relieved of his duties at the end of the season. So that'll be interesting to see how he gets on for the next remaining half of the season, or just over half. Pep Guardiola's Man City are really struggling since his contract extension was announced. They haven't really. I mean, yeah, they put 5 past Burnley the other week, the back end of November, but I think was his contract extension made early November.
I think so.
Well, let's say it was done the start of November before the game against Liverpool. So they drew that. They lost to Spurs. They beat Burnley 5-0, which we all said would happen. They beat Fulham. They drew with Man United and drew with West Brom. They currently sit in 8th position, but could fall down a bit with if Aston Villa and Manchester United both win tonight. They're struggling for goals. Do you think, and it was a bit premature of them to let David Silva go, because they seem to be missing his creativity in that team?
You could say they're missing it, but surely that team has more than enough to replace him.
You would think so, but currently they don't seem to be able to have done it.
Ignoring the big, massive transfer budget that is unlimited, as we know. Surely they've got enough players that there to fulfill it. They've got one they barely play.
In
Phil Foden.
Oh yeah, I mean, could he end up doing something like Jadon Sancho and end up leaving City with the amount of game time he's not getting? Well,
No. See, with Foden, it's a bit more easier to digest because he is a Man City fan, and I just don't think it would push him over that edge.
But I don't know. The media don't seem to be talking about Man City as in. I mean, they're not in the same crisis as Arsenal are, but they're not performing as well as everyone thinks they should be. I mean, compared to last season when they were challenging Liverpool for the title, and yet they've played a game more than Man United, yet they're level on points with the Red Devils, and you think, hang on, every 2 minutes United do something, whether it's a boring draw or they lose in the Champions League or something, everyone seems to be saying Ollie out, but nothing about Pep Guardiola's future. I mean, yes, they're not going to say Pep out, and he's not going to get sacked considering he's just signed a new 2-year deal at the club, but I don't know why City seem to be given the clear around like how bad they're performing compared to other teams.
Yeah, I think they should be getting judged a lot more. But I think people just expect them to be up there by February.
Yeah, be interesting to see how they turn around this fortune. The other game that happened on Tuesday saw Wolverhampton Wanderers welcome Chelsea to the Molineux, and it was the home side that won 2-1 thanks to goals from Daniel Podence and Pedro Neto in stoppage time. Chelsea's goal scorer was, of course, Olivier Giroud. Very good result for Nuno Espirito Santo's side.
Everyone could be Wolves. It's fine.
Not really the best of Chelsea performances for me, I think.
150 million up front, and they just could not muster anything.
Yeah, I think it's not quite at a worrying stage yet, but that something like when you hear that, you're like, oh shit, that is actually something to, because if you're spending 100 million plus on players, you're expecting them to be firing on all cylinders. Well, yeah, 200 million, because Havertz alone was 70 odd million, wasn't it?
72.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm giving him a bit of leeway because he has had COVID, and uh, some players have said that when they've came back after it, the toll has taken, like it's taken them a while to get back to full fitness. So, and he hasn't played as many games as compared to the likes of Werner and Pulisic and other players that they've signed.
And it isn't just that, it's a young kid adapting to a completely different country.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only 21, 22, is he?
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while for someone like him.
The Werner one doesn't surprise me as much if you remember what he said right at the start of the season.
No, I can't remember what was. No.
Wasn't it after the opening game that he said, oh, the defenders in the Premier League are a lot more physical than I'm used to?
Yeah.
That's a warning sign right from the off.
But I don't think many people really cottoned onto it at the time.
I still don't think people have gotten onto it as much.
Yeah. So good result for Nuno Espirito centre side, as we said. The result moves them up into 10th. However, they have played 3 more games than the Villa, who are to play tonight. And then Wednesday's fixtures, so yesterday for us, saw Leeds put 5 past Newcastle's goals from Jack Harrison, Ercan Alioski, Stuart Dallas, Rodrigo Moreno and Patrick Bamford for Marcelo Bielsa's side, and goals for Kieran Clark and Jeff Hendrick for Steve Bruce's side. I don't think I was expecting that result at all last night.
Oh, they were due a result like that.
Yeah, but I just don't think I was. I think maybe against like a Fulham, Burnley, West Brom, I would expect, considering how decent Newcastle have been this season. It just came out of the blue for me.
Is how decent Newcastle have been. They have had so many shots against them. There was always going to be a point when some of those were going to go in.
Yeah. I mean, last night, Leeds had 25 shots and 10 on target. So out of the ones on target, they scored half the goals. Where themselves, they struggled. I mean, they only managed 10 shots, 4 on target, scoring 2 of them. So that's not too good read for Steve Bruce's side. But good result for Marcelo Bielsa, who could potentially win the Best Coach of the Year award, which gets underway a little later on tonight for us. We'll probably talk about that on the review show later on in the week. Result moves them above Newcastle into 13th place. Not bad going for Leeds in this early stage of this season. Elsewhere,
Arsenal, they can be happy.
Yeah. Elsewhere on Wednesday's fixtures, Everton beat Leicester City 2-0 with goals from Mason Holgate and Richarlison for Carlo Ancelotti's side, who just took their chances, really. I mean, were the better team, but they just couldn't convert at all.
There is definitely something wrong with Leicester and playing at home.
Yeah.
It's the 4th one they've lost now.
Can't I think, but in terms of like home form, they've got the 9th best. Only scored 9 but conceded 10 in 7 games at the King Power Stadium this season, whilst they have the 2nd best or joint first away form this season, along with Manchester United, who are also struggling at home this season. As they have
most teams are
17th
for obvious reasons.
Like we said, it's a good result for Everton. Gives them that little bit of confidence boost. I mean, them up to 5th, overtaking Chelsea, 2 points off the top 2, a little further off Liverpool after their win. Good night all round for the Toffees. Leicester are starting to slip away, you'd maybe say. They've got another hard task this weekend, Leicester, against Tottenham. So
did his speeding car just go back on
I don't know whether it was a speeding car or the Formula One that just went past.
That was really loud. I think Jack Grealish has just travelled to Villa Park for the game.
Yeah, so Leicester have
He
another.
really shouldn't be driving right now. He's banned, considering.
Yes. Let's have another hard game, like we said, this weekend against Tottenham. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Speaking of Tottenham, they played Liverpool in what was set to be the clash of the week, and goals from Mohamed Salah in a 90th minute winner from Roberto Firmino gave Jurgen Klopp's side the 3 points. Heung-min Son did score for Jose Mourinho's side.
I want to go for this whole thing because Jose was in prime form for the head of this one.
Prime form, both pre and post match. I mean,
Oh,
pretty much he was talking about all the injuries.
he's playing the whole thing down.
Yeah, saying Liverpool
9
don't have any.
games. Oh, good
And
lord.
the only actual injured player for them was Virgil van Dijk, and everyone else actually isn't injured. And then he was saying that he's got like, was it under 16s he went to?
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was like, my wife's at home tired. She's had enough.
He was just brilliant, Jose. And then after the game, he was saying the better team lost the game.
But
So,
they just didn't.
yeah, Liverpool were better in all aspects of that game and deserved the win.
You can't neglect the chances.
Yeah, they did, but it just weren't clinical.
Kane missed from yards. Bergwijn got through at one point.
But, I don't know whether you've seen the viral clip going around of Team Sherwood watching the game for BT Sport, and he was saying,
Man, I can now realise what that man was saying in the bloody dressing room in 2015.
I mean, there's curse of the commentator, and then there's
I
that.
loved that man as a manager one time. Oh, God damn it.
Absolute legendary clip there of him saying they didn't look like Liverpool were going to score from any of the set pieces, and then as soon as the ball plays in, it's an absolute bullet header from Roberto Firmino to seal the win for Jurgen Klopp's side to move them above Spurs and to top of the Premier League. Elsewhere, West Ham and Palace played.
Just a final note on that one, because
Go on.
the thing with Spurs, I think it's going to plague them until they deal with it. Because Spurs will always be Spurs until they stop doing Spurs things.
But will they ever do Spurs things? That's the question, though. You can say that's what's going to haunt them, and until they stop doing Spurs things, they're still going to be Spurs.
Oh, Liverpool had it for 30 years, and now it's Tottenham's turn.
True. Let's hope they can turn it around against Leicester on Sunday. As we was going on to say other games that happened yesterday, West Ham played Crystal Palace. It finished 1-1 at the London Stadium. Benteke with the goal for Palace and Sebastian Haller for
What did I say?
Benteke is back.
Benteke is back, and now he's gone again because he's suspended
for the game. And then can we talk about that Sebastian Haller goal?
Oh,
absolute phenomenal overhead kick from Haller. Absolute unbelievable.
You've seen the still image of him just hanging in the air and his legs aren't that long.
Yeah. Incredible. Yes. The point sees West Ham drop down to 7th now, with Everton winning on 21 points, whilst Palace are down in 12th on 18. As we said, Benteke will be missing their game this weekend after he picked up a second bookable offence. Was that the game where Palace thought they'd scored earlier on, but it was ruled out for offside?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But yes, the point. Oh no, sorry, it's not that game. It's the Fulham Brighton. That was it. Fulham Brighton, that finished 0-0. Brighton did think they scored just after the hour mark through Danny Webb, but it was adjudged that I think it was Adam Lallana was offside in the build-up. Result sees both teams stay in 16th. Well, 16th for Brighton, and Fulham jump back out of the relegation zone to 17th. I think that was a score that I think most people would have thought of prior to that game happening.
It screamed relegation battle.
Yeah. So the relegation 6-pointer already this early in the season, and no team looked like they really wanted to go out and win, realistically. I mean, just looking at the stats now, both teams had 9 shots, 4 on target, finished with an identical shot accuracy. So I think that sums up both teams. And then the final game has happened as of the time recording was Arsenal-Southampton at the Emirates Stadium. Finished 1-1. Theo Walcott scored against his old team after 18 minutes for the Saints.
Oh, we'll read that one.
And then shortly after half-time, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang equalised for Mikel Arteta's side. And then moments later, Gabriel Magalhaes, within the space of 4 minutes, received 2 yellow cards and was sent off. I mean, where do we start with Arsenal?
How far they have fallen when they are sitting back in the last few minutes of the game against Southampton.
Oh, it's ridiculous. A team of that quantity shouldn't be doing that.
There's no discipline in everything either.
I mean, I can't remember who said it now on Match of the Day 2 at the weekend. But they said the missing in that leadership, like it's something that David Luiz offers, and you wouldn't think it looking at the type of character David Luiz is, but where does the rest of the leadership come from, the Arsenal team? Because Aubameyang's not going to give you leadership at all.
You would look at it for Xhaka, but he's too much of an idiot to, stay on the pitch longer than 45 minutes.
Yeah, you always know he's going to pick up a yellow card or get himself sent off. I mean, looking at this team last night, they had Leno in goal, Tierney, Gabriel, Rob Holding, Maitland-Niles, Elneny, Ceballos, Saka, sorry, not Xhaka, Aubameyang, Nketiah, and Pepe. No one in that team screams out to me they're going to give the rest of their teammates an absolute rollicking if they do something stupid or hold them accountable.
The majority of them are not there for the football reasons.
No, they're just there for the easy paycheck. And it was quite funny what Petrus said on Sky Sports after their game, that when he went over to Thierry Henry's house, he saw that Granit Xhaka had the armband on, and then they just turned off the TV because he didn't see him as like the cap. And I was like, he's not actually wrong at all there, is he? Because like we said,
followed him.
Just looking at that team is just awful. And we have to say they are actually in a relegation fight, though, don't we?
Yeah, well, the points they need, yes, but just because of how we've always perceived Arsenal, it doesn't feel normal.
I don't know. And then was it before the game or on Monday or Tuesday, Edu came out saying we have faith in Arteta and what he's doing, and the only thing that they need was a midfield general to build up play and do stuff. So basically what Mesut Ozil used to do. And then
who would go there?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Who for me, Arsenal, since they've moved to the Emirates, all they've cared about is getting top 4 and doing well in one of the 2 cups, aka the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup or whatever it gets called at the time. That's all they care about, is if they get top 4 and do well in one of the cups, whether winning it or progress into the quarter semis. I think the Arsenal board are happy with that. Because you've got to say, over the last 14 years or however long they've been at the Emirates now, not once have they looked like challenging for the title.
No. You'd think how many teams have come through since that now look like they're way more title quits.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I don't know whether... Okay, here's one for you. Does Mikel Arteta last the season?
I can't for him now. That it would be his position would be almost untenable.
I mean, this weekend they've got the hard.
He's almost lucky there's no fans in there.
Yeah. Well, there won't be from Saturday onwards. They travel up to Goodison
They're
Park.
secretly praying that lasts for quite a while.
I think they'll be hoping it lasts for the remainder of the season. They don't have fans in. But I mean, looking at the likes of Aubameyang, he doesn't look like he's scoring anytime soon.
I think you'll find he did.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like he's not getting that rich form of vein that you're expecting.
Oh, he scored in back-to-back games.
Yeah, but for someone like him, how long did it take him to score though? If you get what I mean, like since signing that contract.
He's so good, he's scoring in both nets.
Yeah, but that's not really that good of a thing to be doing. So I just, for me, this Arsenal team, I think they are well and truly in a relegation battle.
I mean, have to be closer for me to be convinced of that. While they're that low, we enjoy the ride.
Yeah. On the other hand, Southampton up to third in the table, looking really good under Ralph Hasenhüttl. They'll be, I think, disappointed to leave the Emirates with 1 point. I think they were definitely more capable of getting the 3 and looked more likely to get the 3 points than anything out of the two sides. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how they continue and if they can continue their great form this season. There's obviously 2 other games this week, which at the time of recording haven't happened, and they are Villa versus Burnley at 6 o'clock, so in an hour and 50, and then Sheffield United, Man United a little later on. Looking towards the weekend's games now in the Premier League, got some good fixtures if I can remember correctly. So you got Palace versus Liverpool, Southampton, Man City, Everton, Arsenal, Newcastle, Fulham, Brighton, Sheffield United, Tottenham, Leicester, Man United, Leeds, West Brom, Aston Villa, Burnley, Wolves, and Chelsea, West Ham to round off the weekend. Good games this weekend, you got to say.
Some nice mixed affairs, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's some, obviously, Tottenham, Leicester for the top of the table is probably the standout game, and then Southampton, Man City, again, that's top of the table type clash. Everton, Arsenal, which Arsenal side is going to show up, and then Man United Leeds, the first league meeting in 14 years at Old Trafford. Again, what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer side is going to show up?
I think we need to explain the severity of this, because this is quite a fiery clash.
Yeah,
so only a certain generation really knows about.
It's basically Lancashire versus
the War of the Roses.
Yorkshire. Yeah, Yorkshire and Lancashire rivalries for millennia, and Man United and Leeds United have always just been like league rivals for years and years, from back in the day when Leeds were always challenging for titles in the top flight. And then obviously when they went into financial problems in the early 2000s, that went away. But it's always a fierce rivalry between the two sides. Whenever they meet up, it's usually an interesting game. Do I think it will have the same effect as it used to have for me? No. I'm not saying Bobby said no.
It's more for Leeds fans right now than it is for the current generation of United fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I think United fan of an older, of a specific age, say about 40 onwards, would say, okay, yeah, it's still Leeds. We never want to lose to them. But I think to the younger generation, they'll see Liverpool and Man City as rivals, even the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal more as real rivals than they do Leeds. And then after that game on Sunday is the West Midlands derby, as West Brom take on Aston Villa in Sam Allardyce's first game.
secretly terrified. Secretly terrified for us to have 80% possession, all the shots, but then we get beaten in a set piece.
Oh, that would just be the way, wouldn't it?
You have the set piece master against the team whose set piece defending is very debatable.
Mm.
And I'll be terrified. Although if results go away later, maybe the nerves will be lessened.
Elsewhere in the world of football, Premier League clubs have voted against allowing 5 substitutions for a third time this season, despite mounting pressure from the FA and the PFA. That was a shareholders meeting this morning on Thursday. 10 out of the 20 clubs disregarded with the proposal, 4 votes from the necessary threshold of 14 votes to approve the law change. However, teams will be allowed to have 9 replacements to choose from on the bench when it was previously capped at 7. And from January onwards, teams will be able to use a concussion substitute from January onwards.
Well, that's a positive step, but it's not going to stop the concussions, is it?
No. And I'm not surprised that it's been rejected again, the 5 substitutes, because I think, like many teams have said in the past, it's not really helping us, it's helping the big teams because they've got better quality players. So it's something that I can still see being rejected until there's like some sort of fair outcome into it. What else news have we had this week? Bit of transfer news that came through an hour or so ago. RB Leipzig have completed the signing of sister club midfielder Dominik Szoboszlai. He joins on a 5-year deal after they triggered his €25 million release clause. The 20-year-old has risen to prominence after registering 16 goals and 23 assists in 30 appearances since lockdown, whilst also impressing in the Champions League. Very good signing for Leipzig, you got to say.
From the positive play that he's shown this season, it's almost one of the perfect signings for them.
Yeah. I think he's one of them, though, where you think if he continues to have another good 2-3 years, I think it won't be long before.
If he has the same effect that a certain other player who came from Salzburg the same time last year, then he'll be all right.
Yes, Mr. Erling Haaland, who did phenomenal and has done phenomenal since joining Dortmund from Salzburg. There had been talk that Arsenal and AC Milan were wanted him, but I think it was obvious Leipzig out of the 3 were the best option for him now. Right, on to Predictions League now. I haven't actually been keeping up to date with how we did during the midweek's games. That's my bad. Looking at it, Arsenal Southampton, no one got any points. Leicester Everton, nobody got any points. Or did we? Nope. And West Ham Palace. Yeah, actually, I got 2 points there because I predicted a draw. Whereas you predicted a West Ham win.
Bloody Benteke.
And then the 6th game hasn't happened as of yet. Which was Villa versus Burnley, which we can keep on. I mean, either way, if Villa win, we both get points. So, what are the 6 games you've gone for this week then?
Okay, this week, same rules apply as ever. First game is Southampton and Manchester City.
Is it at St Mary's or the Etihad?
It is at St Mary's.
You know what? I think this is going to be a close game than many think. I'm going to go with. I think City will nick it late on, but win 2-1.
Very interesting, but I've gone for 1-1.
I was thinking that, but I think I don't know why, but in my head, I've just envisioned Gabby Jesus scoring like in the 90th minute to win the game for them. Game 2.
Everton Arsenal.
I mean, Arsenal really need to show up this weekend against Everton, otherwise they really are in a relegation battle if they're not already. And for me, I don't see it happening. I see Everton winning 2-0.
Very interesting. I had the same scoreline.
Also to Everton, I take it.
Yes, 2-0.
Yep. Game 3.
The fiery clash in Manchester. United versus Leeds.
So the United game.
The
Or
United
the
game.
Allens.
Yeah. Instantly when I said it, I was knowing on Leeds United as well. Bollocks.
Yeah. You could call it the Alan Smith derby or the Eric Cantona derby. Take your pick. Or the Rio Ferdinand derby.
We said that exact.
It was quite strange saying that at the same time. I think this has got 1-0 Man United written all over it.
Well, here comes my random pick. I'm going for 3-1 Leeds.
3-1 Leeds. Wow. Okay. Game 4.
I think United getting done on the counter. We're going to see Istanbul style counter-attacking disaster.
Okay. Interesting.
Luke Shaw is getting fucked by Rafinha.
Might be Alex Telles playing on
Harry
the left
Maguire is
side.
going to get mugged by Patrick Bamford.
No, he'll just headbutt him.
No, with Bamford, he doesn't need to be headbutted to go down.
Oh, true. Game 4.
We're in the wildcard territory. We're going Barcelona-Valencia.
Is it at the Mestalla or the Camp
Nou?
Following on from last night's result for Barcelona, I think they're going to win this game. Yes, against Real Sociedad. I'm going 2-1 again to Barca.
I've gone 2-0 Barca.
Game 5.
Top 2 battle in Germany. Leverkusen and Bayern.
I'm going 3-2 to Bayern.
I've gone for 2-1 to Munich.
Yeah, I meant Bayern Munich when I said to Bayer. I don't know whether I said Bayer or Bayern. But Hansi Flick's side. And the 6th and final game.
Interesting one. Probably a bit more open. But in France, I went for Nice against Lyon.
Okay. Very interesting pick. I didn't think that would be one to look at this week.
I was ruined in terms of picks this week. There was a lot more open games. I think it was too easy for predictions, so I thought, go with this one. Let's have you better not be doing research right now. As I see you scour your phone. I haven't done research. This is the point of the wildcard picks. Book your research.
I mean, I was just looking at where each team was in the table. That was all. I'm going to go 3-1 to Lyon.
I've gone 2-0 Lyon.
Okay, interesting games to look forward to this weekend. So the only game we've got the exact same result is Everton-Arsenal then.
It seems so. We both value Arsenal the same way.
Which is not at all. Obviously, later on in the week on the review show, we will have a look back at how we did and how all games have got on this weekend. Just before we finish,
can we end this show properly?
Hang on. Let me do my segment before you do yours.
I'm too keen for this.
Right, so it's the final weekend of the Women's Super League in 2020. Teams will face it. Will not face. They will have a 2-week break at the back end of December. So the games we have to look forward to this weekend are Manchester United versus Bristol City at 12 o'clock. 1:30 Arsenal versus Everton. At 2 o'clock Birmingham City versus Man City, Chelsea versus Tottenham, and then 2:30 Brighton versus Reading, and then at 3 o'clock West Ham versus Aston Villa. Some very good games there. I think Arsenal-Everton should be an absolute cracker to watch. See how Arsenal get on at Meadow Park. Birmingham Man City, again, looks like it could be a very good game. And then West Ham Aston Villa is a proper 6-pointer towards the bottom of the table. Any sort of point or win for Manchester United and Casey Stoney's side will remain top of the year and finish 2020 unbeaten in the WSL. And Chelsea can stay second or go top with any results in their favour, whilst Arsenal will be hoping to get back to winning ways and put pressure on the top two sides. Right. On to your favourite part of the show now.
It's my, in the words of Fabrizio Romano, copyright, here we go.
Oh, he missed it! I do not believe what I've just seen! Very interesting! Oh! Something weird is going on. Shit! Did you see that?
Oh, I don't even know where to start this week. Just there's too much as shit has happened.
As always.
But I want to start with probably the less recent one, but the one that really caught my eye. I want to start in Brazil with Corinthians.
Ah, yes, this weird little story that came out on Sunday or Monday, was it now this week? I can't remember.
It's really caught the eye of Corinthian fans because they've grown a little bit of a fandom for a Miss Taylor Swift.
Yes.
You could say they've become Swifties. They have formed a love story
Oh, Lord.
with the artist as they have found out she's a bit of a lucky charm for the team.
Mm-hmm.
So they've noticed that every time the singer has released an album, it has corresponded with their team winning.
I mean, who finds that kind of stuff out?
Swifties? The Swifties and Corinthians?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it said they've won every game before or after a song or an album has been released by Taylor Swift, which is a weird. Out of all the statistics you hear in football, I think that's going to be the weirdest one.
Interesting one, but I mean, it's almost something you would never believe in your wildest dreams.
No. And please start with the Taylor Swift puns, for God's sake.
Away from that, because now I want to go from something as lovely as that to Danny Drinkwater starting a fight in a 16-year-old.
Yes, I did hear about that. So he was playing in the Chelsea under-23s game.
I forgot he was still there. I thought he left them.
No, I think he.
I thought his career was gone after he left us.
I don't even know. Well, his career is technically done after he left us. He's not getting game time at the Bridge. Yeah, so he was involved in an under-23 game with Chelsea. So was Petr Cech. It was against Tottenham, was
There's
it?
so many layers this season. Brilliant.
And then, so he started a fight with a 16-year-old. Petr Cech conceded a goal after trying to pass it out from the back. I mean, if that story doesn't sum up 2020 in a nutshell, I don't know what does.
Yeah. Well, we have to end this in the right way by saying, well done, he's 13.
Yes.
But now, one for more recently that I've just discovered. I think you'll love this one. It's coming from Mr. Gennaro Gattuso.
I do know the story you're about to go to.
Is he manager of now?
Milan?
No, he's not Milan manager.
Napoli?
Is it Napoli? It's someone in it. It's got to be. Let's just say he's gone off again.
Napoli manager. I was
Napoli,
right. He's Napoli's manager. Yeah.
So his quote after one of the recent games. I don't understand why we are one of the few nations who send players off for swearing. When I was in Scotland, I saw players all the time telling the referee to fuck off, and nobody said anything. What a bloke.
I mean, it's not wrong because, I mean, one thing of fans not being at stadiums this past like 9 months or so, you have heard a lot more of players swearing and stuff. Because I remember the other week, I can't remember who Wolves were playing, but Adama Traore went down after getting fouled, and the one player goes, "He's built like a brick shithouse," and he goes down like that.
Rob Holding.
Yeah, Rob Holding. I think him and Andy Robertson have definitely been giving you a few things to listen out for when it comes to the football over the past.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. Adama Traore is the same size as 2 football players.
Yeah, and he goes down like a sniper's just came out of the sky and shot him. But yeah, I did see that about Caduce. I mean, you're always going to get swearing in football at any level, apart from kids, obviously, because
I've just seen something else online. I'm reading through stuff. How have I only just seen this from Jose's Instagram?
What's he said?
I guess this was before yesterday, but it's a picture of him in his office.
I haven't seen this, but I will delve onto Mr. Mourinho's Instagram now to look at the picture.
He fully has a picture in his office of him winning the Premier League with titles with Chelsea in his Spurs office.
Oh, on the picture frame.
Yeah, and he has a. Does my man have a Batman gaming chair?
So, yeah, it's a Batman secret lab chair because the whole thing's an ad. So he's got. So this post is an ad. So he's got behind him. You can see
all the people to have a Batman.
So on his wall behind him, he's got one picture of him with the Champions League with Inter Milan, him getting thrown in the air by Real Madrid players, winning the Europa League with Man United, his first Premier League with Chelsea, and then there's this one picture where I'm not too sure what it is, and let me just, it was one of his first games as Spurs manager. Whilst he's doing then.
I think if we get the stuff in the background, the man has a Batman chair.
Gaming chair. I mean, who are secret?
I think there's actually a trapdoor underneath, and that's how you go. There's actually a secret Batcave.
Well, there must be, because they are actually gaming chairs. They are an award-winning gaming seats engineered so you can stay comfortably at home.
That's fantastic. That man. Just.
Wait, so on the back of it, if you probably can't see the fourth picture, but it's got Game of Thrones on the back of it.
Oh, this guy.
and he's just sat in it, looking out onto the training pitch.
Oh my god! And you just Game of Thrones is the perfect comparison to him. It starts off so positively and ends in absolute fucking shite.
And it's crazy the whole time, and no one knows whether it's truth or make believe the whole time throughout.
And then ends terribly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that might be the craziest thing we've seen this week.
I mean, there's been many more. So many more. Right,
that is everything for this week's show. We'll be back later on in the week to look at all the games happening over the weekend and everything, and look forward to next week's games, which will be the Boxing Day fixtures. I think, are we going to do that on the same show, or are we going to split that into 2 shows?
I mean, as of right now, I have no idea, because life.
That's what people say. You're flying high in April, shut down in May, and we'll see what other stuff we can do. See if we can make any Christmas themed.
We can never argue about our culture. We are on this show.
Yes. See if we can get some Christmas. We'll figure out between us a Christmas starting 11 in both the men and females games. And anything else that happens over the weekend. Premier League games, Super 6, or our Super 6 even, and anything else that happens. And that is all we have time for this week. If you have enjoyed it, if you're listening to us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening to us anywhere else, again, make sure you subscribe and follow us on Twitter We'll be back, we said, in the coming days. So until then, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from my co-presenter Brad.
See ya.
And we'll see you soon.